How do you use social media for thought leadership? This is a really important question because most people assume social media is helping them build thought leadership. They're posting content, they're sharing their own experience, they're showing case studies and testimonials, they're trying to build authority, they're trying to become known in their industry. And because they're getting likes and comments and views and followers, they assume it's working. But there's a question almost nobody is asking. Are you nurturing or are you marketing? Most social media platforms are excellent at one and terrible at the other. And some approaches are slow to build thought leadership, while others in comparison are like lightning. In this episode, we're going to look at every different platform and show you which platforms are best for nurturing and which are best for marketing, and why confusing the two is one of the biggest reasons experts struggle to build thought leadership. You'll learn why some platforms generate followers but never generate leads, and why some forms of content create the illusion of growth, and which platforms can position you as the go-to authority in your space. By the end of our short time together in this episode, you'll know exactly where to spend your time, where not to waste it, and how to build a thought leadership strategy that actually grows your business. Let's dive right in. So before we talk about platforms, let's define nurturing and marketing. When I talk about nurturing, I'm talking about staying top of mind with people who have become your friends, your connections, or your subscribers. It's a way to strengthen an existing relationship. Nurturing is important. We just don't want to confuse it with marketing, because if you confuse the two, you'll think that you're growing your business when you're really just talking to the same people over and over again. You'll be creating content, getting engagement, getting likes, getting comments, and wondering why your business is growing so slowly. The reason is actually simple. Nurturing strengthens existing relationships. It does a good job of warming people up to working with you, but the focus of marketing is to create new relationships, to attract new people to you. So let's talk about marketing. Again, getting in front of new people who've never heard of you before. You can market in the wrong way. You can interrupt people. You can annoy people with ads. Or you can go viral and get in front of the wrong audience. When that happens, you may get attention, but attention by itself doesn't create clients. Or you can market the right way. You can show up as the answer to the needs, challenges, and problems and questions of your dream clients. A good way to market is to only be in front of your dream clients, not because you're forcing your message in front of them, but because they actively are looking for your help. And there are dream clients of yours all around the world who are in the moment of need right now. So let's talk about platforms, and let's evaluate them through the lens of nurturing versus marketing. Let's start with Facebook. Facebook is an amazing nurturing platform. Now that assumes that you actually enjoy Facebook and you're not trapped in the social media trap, because it's very social. People can keep up with what you're doing, they can engage with your content, they can message you directly through Messenger. And it's a great place for people to find you if they already know your name. The problem is that Facebook is terrible for marketing. Your content is not indexed. It's not searchable by topic. People who need your help aren't going to search Facebook and find your expertise. So unless you're paying for ads and interrupting people, Facebook does very little to help new people discover you. Okay, next is Instagram, and it's very similar. It's a great nurturing platform. People enjoy consuming short-form content. Relationships can be maintained there, but it's much harder to build trust because the content is so short. A lot of people confuse virality with success. They think that if a post gets hundreds of thousands of views, something amazing has happened. But often, no leads come from even the most viral posts. You've simply gotten in front of the wrong audience. Again, good nurturing, poor marketing. Okay. LinkedIn is one of the better nurturing platforms in the B2B space. You can share business content, you can share your expertise, you can publish what people call thought leadership content, and it can absolutely strengthen relationships. But LinkedIn has become very spammy. Everybody is pitching, everybody is doing cold outreach DMs. Your LinkedIn inbox is 99% spam, and because of that, Even well-intentioned outreach often gets ignored. LinkedIn also has a paid advertising platform, but now we're back to interrupting people. And LinkedIn ads are often more expensive and difficult to optimize. The bigger issue is that your content isn't truly discoverable. The people who see your posts are the people already connected to you. So LinkedIn is excellent for nurturing, but it does very little to attract people who are actively searching for your expertise. Now, Twitter or X has some similarities. I view it as more of a PR platform. It's great for staying top of mind, for keeping conversations going. It's great for quick updates, but it's very difficult to use as a marketing platform. It does nothing to serve as a discoverability platform. Now, I'm going to group TikTok and YouTube Shorts together in their own category. I know this may be unpopular, but if your goal is to build thought leadership, I would not spend my time there. Don't worry about Shorts or TikTok. Most people point to the views and to the virality. It is very easy to go viral on TikTok and YouTube. They measure success by the growth of followers and subscribers. But I care about lead generation. I care about authority with your target audience. I care about becoming the go-to expert in a specific category. Short form content simply doesn't spend enough time with people to build any meaningful trust. People are swiping, they're entertained for a moment, maybe they're quickly inspired, but they move on and forget about you immediately. So that's not thought leadership. Now let's talk about podcasts. I love podcasts, but not for the reasons that most people think. Podcasts are fantastic for nurturing. If somebody already knows who you are, a podcast is a wonderful way to deepen the relationship because they're spending a lot of time with you. They get to know you. They get to hear your ideas. But podcasts are increasingly difficult to grow. There's no centralized search engine. Each podcast platform is different, but generally they help you search for a show by name, not by topic. So it's a terrible marketing tool. And podcasts are not indexed by Google or other AI tools. Now, there's some things that I do love about podcasts, and that's using them as a relationship building tool. It's very unique in this way. You can invite your ideal clients onto your show, and you can be a guest on someone else's show. So it makes it easier to build relationships through this 45-minute conversation with people who you would otherwise not have access to. So that can be incredibly valuable. Just be clear that your podcasts are terrible marketing tools. Think of it instead as a great networking tool. Now, let's talk about Substack. I'm actually fascinated by Substack right now. The platform is built around thought leadership content, which obviously has gotten my attention. It's clearly a very good nurturing platform. You can duplicate your email list right there. You can distribute your content. You can stay top of mind. The question that I still have is discoverability. Can people find your content through search if they've never heard of you before or they're not actually subscribed to you yet? Can answer engines find your content on Substack? Can it help build actual positioning? Well, the jury is still out. I'm actively testing it. If the discoverability proves to be strong, then I'm going to go all in on Substack. It's actually pretty easy once you have a solid content platform. Not because I think that Substack is going to outperform Google, YouTube, or ChatGPT, but because I think it could strengthen the overall ecosystem. So I'm going to keep digging. Then there's Reddit. Reddit's an interesting one. Now, AI systems have historically referenced Reddit quite heavily. That's what made it very attractive to me. The challenge is that it's built around anonymity. Building authority there is quite difficult. I've had a very hard time being totally genuine and authentic to build any karma. And more recently, AI tools seem to be favoring YouTube content more than Reddit. This is actually a big change from a year ago. Reddit was ranking above YouTube. Now YouTube is ranking above Reddit. So while it's interesting, I haven't yet found a practical strategy on Reddit for thought leadership. Now let's talk about email. Email is the king of nurturing. These are people who have chosen to hear from you. You own the relationship. You control the communication. You can segment your audience. You can track engagement. If your goal is nurturing, email is the best platform available. And that leaves the best platform for last. YouTube is the best thought leadership platform in the world. Not because it's social, but because it's searchable. And not just on YouTube. YouTube videos are searchable on Google and increasingly through AI tools like ChatGPT. When you create the right type of thought leadership content on YouTube, people can discover you without you doing any promotion. They're actively searching for help. They're asking questions. They're looking for answers. and your content appears exactly when they need it. It begins building trust right away. A big distinction from all social media is that YouTube transcribes every word you say, it understands your content, and it indexes your content. So your videos can be found by people who have never heard of you before simply by asking questions about your topic. And because Google owns YouTube, your videos rank well on Google as well. So this YouTube video and Google strategy can actually be enhanced with a blog. Now, blogs by themselves aren't nearly as powerful as they once were, but when paired with YouTube, they're incredibly valuable. Take your YouTube video, embed it at the top of a blog, take your transcript and have ChatGPT write it as an article, and very quickly you have a blog page. Once you've created a YouTube video, it's so fast to create a blog page that you might as well do it, and you've multiplied the ways that answer engines can discover your expertise. The blog helps the video helps the blog. Together, they become far more powerful. Now, let me address something important, and I hope you pay attention. Some platforms can technically do both nurturing and marketing, but I highly recommend against mixing those goals. The best example is YouTube. YouTube has search, but it has suggested videos, it has shorts, it has ads. All of those attract different audiences. And when you mix those audiences together, the algorithm gets very confused. You start attracting people who love you and people who are annoyed by you. You attract people who trust you and attract people who don't trust you. People searching for help and people who accidentally found you get mixed together. And so if you want to pursue multiple strategies, I'd rather you separate them into different YouTube channels. Keeping the audiences clean is extremely valuable to you. The biggest mistakes people make with social media is not being strategic. They think just posting content is enough. They think they should be everywhere. They think that they should repurpose everything onto every platform. Now, I'm not opposed to experimentation, but I'm opposed to throwing spaghetti at the wall and calling it strategy. And the last mistake I'll talk about is tracking the wrong metrics. You're tracking views, followers, subscribers, likes. Social media love those metrics. They reward those metrics. Now, I have YouTube plaques behind me. Most are for channels with 100,000 subscribers. A couple of them are for channels with 1 million subscribers, but none of those plaques tell the level of revenue for that business. Now, I have colleagues that have enormous audiences, way bigger than 1 million subscribers, many millions or tens of millions, and they struggle financially. You wouldn't guess that someone with several million subscribers had to go back and get a regular job. The metric that matters is whether your content is generating revenue, whether it's generating leads, whether it's generating clients, whether it's building trust. Now think about this. If you only have 5 hours per week to create content, here's exactly what I would do. I would spend every minute creating thought leadership content, not entertainment, not reactions, not trends, not viral content, not shorts, but thought leadership content. In 5 hours, you could outline and film 5 to 10 thought leadership videos. Content that positions you as the authority in front of the right people. Content that remains relevant for years, content that continues generating leads long after it's published. And that's really the lesson of this entire episode. Social media is deceptive. You think that you're marketing. You think that the world is seeing you, but you're only being heard by the same people over and over. That's why I wanted to help you understand the difference between nurturing and marketing. Now you can stop guessing. You can start building a real thought leadership strategy. Now, if you're serious about becoming the go-to authority in your industry, then I want to invite you to attend my Thought Leader Dominance webinar. In that training, I show you the 3 parts of personal branding that every thought leader must develop. You'll also learn how to become a level 3 expert instead of staying stuck at level 1 or level 2. And most importantly, I'll show you how to analyze the thought leaders in your industry and identify the gaps that they left behind and create a strategy that allows you to outrank them and become the dominant authority in your space. You can register now at theleafstrategy.com. I'll see you there.